Good afternoon and good evening to the Splinterlands community. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you guys today. It is October the 3rd. Welcome to October. Can you believe that we're like getting into the end of the year already? I find it a little bit shocking myself, but that's where we're at. So I'm Agrod. I'm the founder and CEO of Splinterlands. It's my absolute pleasure to be here. I'm gearing up to go talk to you guys about a whole bunch of different things today with a variety of special people here. But of course, the next big one on all of our brains is going to be Splinterfest. I mean, Splinterfest is happening next weekend, or really like this weekend. We're flying to Vegas. I already got some of the guys are in Vegas now. So these are crazy times. We're navigating all of these big production releases. We're also coordinating around national domestic travel and some international travel, all to get to Vegas and celebrate an awesome time there. So let's go do a quick team stand up, and I'd like to hear from some of the folks that are on the call today to just help us know what we're going to be talking about. So we got ourselves a chatter, we got a WeirdBeard, and coming in on audio only, we have a Nate. So WeirdBeard, do you want to tell us what you're planning on talking about today?
Coliseum of Chaos and Splinterfest and nothing else.
Nice. Chatter, how about you? What's going on today?
Splinterfest, and then just everything new ventures for us.
Sweet. And then Nate, what's on your brain?
Oh, like everyone else, Splinterfest. All
right. So as I guess I wasn't too far off when I said this is really like us being in the brain zone of Splinterfest and trying to figure that out. So that's going to be a major topic, and there's a bunch that we'll also want to go cover. But okay, so what I want to do, we have a special guest today. So we got AxlerTwinBlade here, and he is from Baron's Toolbox. You've probably seen him streaming. He's probably gifted you something along the way. But I wanted a chance to say hi to Axler and have him on the show and just talk to us about what he's doing. So great to have you here. Like, hey, dude, thanks for making all this cool stuff and helping making the streaming experience better across the board. How's it going?
Well, thanks for having me. It's going good. I'm also getting excited for Splinterfest coming up. I don't think I'm really ready for this weekend yet, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I can't even believe that I'm going to be like traveling. I went down to Oklahoma real quick. Had to go help Professor Trost down at Oklahoma State. He's on Hive and talking about Hive with the students, and he asked me to go kind of judge a panel. So I went down and helped him with that. But like now I got to go do it again this week, and I'm just like my brain isn't ready. I'm just not I'm not even there. I'm just like I have so much stuff that I got to do this week. You want to what's like what's your main priority, like both with either Baron's Toolbox or the stream? Like what are your key objectives? What are you trying to build, and what are you hoping that people know exists?
So for the most part, Baron's Toolbox has started as just a set of tools that when I started the game, I wanted just some better gameplay tools for myself. But then that quickly turned into people I work with really enjoyed the tools I was making as well. So I just went ahead and made them public. So for the most part, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to stay focused on building different types of tools that help people more so play the game. There's lots of tools out there that help people with the financial or in the investment side. But I try to stay focused mostly on what can help us play the game, enjoy the game aspect.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot that the players want us to go talk about gameplay and focus on gameplay more. I do feel like I just tried to have an entire show about land and how that's going to roll out and what we're working on, but maybe that's more development than gameplay at this point. But like, what does that mean to you when you're thinking about like, hey, they want more tools for gameplay? Like, what does that translate into? Like, what physical or what coded things do they want, or what play devices do they want, or experiences are they looking for?
Well, from what I'm finding, Baron Toolbox, my guild tool that I have, it's not to manage your bigger guilds like for esports. It's more so to help people manage their guild in the game itself. So the in-game guild. And simple things that they're looking for in that area are just ways to see what their guild members are doing. Are they inactive? Have they gone inactive? And so that's what I've tried to give them there is tools to help them just kind of manage their in-game guild members. How much are they donating to guild buildings in those aspects?
Yeah,
Uh,
one of my dreams is to get like a guild treasury so that you would have like a separate system account, which would almost be like a each DAO, each guild would become a DAO, right? And I don't want to force every guild to become a DAO. So I kind of want like varying options of how you can do treasury management within a guild. But those are things that I'm considering. You know, it's not quite the same as what you're describing of like, is a user active or not? But maybe you could get some sense of like, are they contributing rewards or DEC or SBS to the guild, you know, to the common effort? Um,
yeah, so they're looking for lots of those types of tools. Definitely guild treasury, I've heard lots of. That's hard to kind of for myself alone as a side project to tackle. But all of these little projects that I've made is when I started streaming, I made the border art for all the card frames so that way I could quickly change the frame on my stream, which I'm proud to see now gets used on town halls. So I'm really excited about that. And uh, there's lots of ideas that come to me that it's just a matter of time of which ones I can tackle and which ones I kind of have to wait on. But overall, I do all of these just for kind of a side hobby and for fun because I really enjoy the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear that you know every time that I go to your stream, I see, oh, he's got more stuff up, and there's more tools, and it's getting more refined. I was really impressed with like the spinner tool, then turning into like here's a naming system management thing that then also turns into this like keychain activation thing and like logging all of it. Like it was a pretty sophisticated setup, and not only was it sophisticated, but like watching you use it, it was like click here, click there, sent, done. And I was like, that was really slick. That was well done, especially for like, you know, there's not like immediate tools that come out where you're like, hey, this is how you integrate everything with keychain or something. Like I thought you did a really nice job with that.
Well, thanks. Yeah, when the splinter or with the spinning tool, that was me just fighting with Nightbot. Nightbot is one of the main Twitch tools out there for doing giveaways, and I just didn't like the way it was doing it. So having access to Splinterlands API made it really nice just to integrate something directly. Uh, because when you pick somebody to give a prize away to, the next problem was having to dig through your card inventory to find that card to give them. And as more cards get released, like now with Rift Watchers, it takes a little bit longer each time to try to find the card just to
Yeah.
give it away.
Yeah. Card management's a thing for sure. All right. Well, anything that you want us to like be thinking about, or what's your next project, or you know, is there? Do you have a message that you want to deliver? Is this just like an introduction and making sure people know about Baron's Toolbox, or you know, what's your core message for today?
Uh, one of the next tools I'm definitely almost done working on is again because I'm fighting with Nightbot right now. It lets my spin tool lets you pick a card to give away, but I'm also working on the ability for people to enter their Twitch slash in-game name directly into Baron's toolbox for different streamers. And then the spin tool will actually be able to pick the person's name along with the card and make that process even quicker because you won't have to look over at Nightbot um, to do half the work. So that's the next thing I'm working on. Overall, I guess the message I'd just like to leave people with is, you know, a lot of us are here just to enjoy and play the game. I know a lot of the discussions are always focused around investment sides, but there's a huge community out here and that we're here just for the game. And I'm definitely one of them. That's what helps inspire me to make these tools. And I hope everybody enjoys them.
We certainly appreciate you doing it. I think it's made the streaming stronger, the giveaways better, and I don't know. It's just that you've added a lot of fun and just not only doing the like technical pieces, but the graphical. I mean, like my face is in a card box right now or a card frame for the game, and all this is like Baron's Toolbox stuff. So thank you for your work. Thanks for what you've done, and as you have continuing tools that you kind of want to get out there or pieces that are new that people need to know about, feel free to ping us and let's make sure that as you're rolling features out that we help the community know about them.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thanks, bud. Okay. So thank you, Axler. He's great. Hopefully you guys check in on his stream. I think the next thing for us to go do is just kind of catch a marketing update. Now I don't know. I don't want to spill the beans, but there's stuff going on. What are you prepared to talk about today? It sounds like Splinterfest is kind of the thing that we got in our sights right now.
Yeah, Splinterfest is the main one, and I'll let kind of WeirdBeard talk to that kind of most. There's some pretty kick-ass tournaments that he's planning there, and that's kind of alluding to the Coliseum chaos that he's been talking about. But otherwise, I mean, it's happening this weekend. There's still tickets available if anyone wants to get in. Again, HyperX Arena, Las Vegas. It's going to be a hell of a time. I'm just really
are there VIP tickets?
VIP tickets are fully sold out.
Oh, they're fully sold out. Oh,
yeah.
Noted.
We actually brought in HyperX too. Big kudos to Robbie, our partnerships manager here. But he brought in HyperX as a major sponsor too. So they're helping kind of support the event. And then there's also going to be a nice little surprise for the VIPs and their swag bags as well from HyperX as a thank you.
Yeah, that sounds pretty swank. Okay, so what is Splinterfest? Why should I go? And what are some of the highlights?
Yeah, I mean, it's really a meeting of the minds. It's a great event for all of us to come together to really celebrate everything Splinterfest. I mean, on top of that, there's going to be the Lux Vega promo card on top of it. If you attend Splinterfest, the general admission tickets are going to get you a $300 discount. So the entire price of your ticket is going to be discounted off the card. If you're actually planning on buying the card, the actual Splinterfest event is essentially free minus the lodging and travel costs there, which is, I think, a really cool thing. We're also going to be giving out over 100 land plots in terms of, or 100 land plots exactly, sorry, in terms of tournaments and just kind of miscellaneous events that we're running around Splinterfest itself. And then lastly, I mean, get to come meet us, meet the rest of the community. It's just going to be a cool place that we get to talk for 2 days straight about nothing but Splinterlands and just kind of catch up with each other. So really excited for that.
What are some of the big topics that we're looking to get into?
Yeah, great segue, actually. I'm going to drop the link to a Splinterfest questionnaire here for creative. So for those tuning in, please look at that. Please fill it out. If you have questions about land, if you have questions about Rebellion, Genesis League Sports, any of the new ventures, we're looking to take in as much community feedback as possible. But really, it's all the upcoming things about Splinterfest. We're going to be looking to hopefully leak some new gameplay footage for tower defense. We're going to talk about kind of new upcoming things for Genesis League Sports, whether that's soccer or potential kind of upcoming projects there. We're going to be talking about literally everything happening in the whole kind of Splinterfest or Genesis League atmosphere here. It's mainly going to be Splinterfest focused, but there will be panels for all of our new ventures as well. But really, I mean, you're going to be the first to hear about a whole bunch of new upcoming exciting things. So if you want to be in on everything, that's the place to be. We will be doing streams for some of the events and some of the panels. Not the entire event will be streamed, but we will be trying to kind of make sure that communities are accessing as much as possible here.
Rock on. Beyond Splinterfest, are there things that you want to are there other pieces that you want to talk about in terms of partnerships or anything else that's out there that we're ready to go with?
Nothing that's signed, sealed, and delivered yet, but just know we're working on a couple huge, and when I say huge, I mean huge partnerships, if we can get those closed. So there's going to be a really big one for the launch of Rooney. We're looking to do some really major partnerships there and hopefully some kind of big marketing exposure to the greater ETH community. We're also looking at some stuff for both Splinterlands and some other new projects that we've been working on. Really just helping kind of partner with one of the biggest media conglomerates in the world to get some news out on that. But all things under wraps right now, hoping to get contracts signed in the next couple of weeks, and we'll be sure to share a whole bunch there once we do. And then one more, which is going to be a potential kind of art gallery and in-person activation event in New York City too.
Oh,
So
good. I forgot to ask about that and how that went. But
yeah.
hopefully we can get our NFTs into an actual physical store.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it from me. One last thing from my side, more so is just like a personal fun contest that we're going to be running. One of our community members, Rod Librand, is looking to wrap the hood of his car, and he wants a Splinterlands design for it. So I'm going to be donating 10 of my own personal Rift Watchers packs to anyone who wants to participate. I'm going to be posting that in one of the channels after the call here by end of day. But if anyone wants to participate, some Rift Watchers packs, we'll probably throw in some Chaos Legion packs as well up for grabs for anyone who else wants to design the hood of his car.
Yeah, they can count on OTIC for some support, and I'll toss in 1,000 SPS personally.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Chatter, that's awesome. I'm really excited about some of the things that we still have under wraps, but that I hope come to fruition. I think that these will be really big for our game, and that we're doing the best we can to make a big splash, even during a bear market, and frankly, in some ways, especially during a bear market. I've shared this story a couple times. I'll keep talking about it. But when I grew up, I went to the Jersey Shore a bunch, and I learned how to ride waves in the oceans and just body surfing. And the way that you catch a wave is you see the wave coming that you want to ride, and you start paddling to get out in front of it. You have to catch some momentum and have a little bit of momentum before that wave kind of comes up behind you and can push you down the wave. If you start too early or start too late, you'll miss it. And you can't just like wait for the wave to hit and then go, because your body and you're not in line with the wave that's coming at you. So you really have to like see it coming, position yourself correctly, get your momentum going in the same direction of the wave, timed properly. And then when all those things hit, that's how you ride the wave. And so I see that in crypto too. And my objective as CEO and as the guy trying to keep the wheels on this ship and steer it as captain is sort of just say, I can see some of these awesome waves that are coming, and I'm trying to position myself in front of them, trying to get some momentum going and working with the partners that we can to make sure that we get as much exposure and we get as many eyeballs on these things as possible. Because I think it'll also lead to new players and new money entering the game. So I'm excited about some of the things that we have cooking. I'm hoping that they all come to fruition, because if they do, then there's a couple pretty big waves that we get to ride as a community here, and we'll see what we can lock and load.
Absolutely. And sorry to interrupt, but one more thing that I forgot to announce, and as the past 30 minutes, we just confirmed this, but the Genesis League Soccer white paper will be released as of October 13th. So keep an eye on the calendar for that one as well.
Sweet. Yeah. So 10 more days, but that's coming. So I know a bunch of people are wondering. I think there's a couple images that are in there too. It's not like a full creative brief of the game, but the white paper, I think, will have a couple images to help you see kind of what it is that we've been scoping and thinking about for the last little while. But lots of opportunities to earn, lots of opportunities to participate. And, if you're listening to this, if you're part of the Splinterlands community, there's an airdrop that's planned for the GLX token to go to people that are currently staking SPS. So, so Josie was saying, isn't it October 11th? Are you confirmed that it's the 13th, or is it the 11th?
It was initially going to be the 11th. We've pushed back to the 13th just to kind of tie some final ribbons on it and make sure that the team's all there to answer questions just following Splinterfest, because a lot of our team's still going to be traveling during those dates. But 13th is the latest it will be released. It may be earlier than that. I'll make sure that we have a post and everyone gets kind of full transparency as to when that's going out.
Awesome. I guess if you can, if there's one thing that you were personally the most excited about for Splinterfest, what would that be?
I mean, meeting everyone's going to be 100% my kind of most looking forward to thing there. I mean, I've talked to so many of the community members. I mean, there's hundreds of people I have DMs with on Discord here, but never put a face to the name. So it's going to be awesome to kind of catch up, grab a drink with everyone, and then really kind of shoot the shit, for lack of better terms, excuse my French.
Is there going to be some cool swag there? Like, are there things that I can only get there, or there, not just like the people meeting everybody, but from like angry chipmunk kind of bringing in some of his unique laser created wooden things, and I don't know, I guess resellers bringing some card packs of physical cards. Is there other stuff that's going to be there that's like unique to this experience?
Yeah, so like you said, the carve kind of cards and the laser engraved cards that Anchor Chipmunk's creating, resellers made some really cool packs for Chaos Legion, like physical cards there. We're gonna have some Splinterfest merch as well, so everyone who's coming there is gonna have a swag bag that's gonna be like a draw bag with the Splinterlands kind of like teeth logo on it. We're gonna have a Splinterfest shirt for absolutely everyone coming in those bags as well, and there'll be a few more things that we're giving out here and there.
Yeah. All right. Well, this sounds, I'm pretty stoked for this. I mean, I know that my brain isn't there yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Okay. Anything else? We covered a bunch. I don't mean to put more, but anything else before we head over to WeirdBeard?
That's it from my side. Just kind of stay on the lookout for some major partner announcements, hopefully coming in the next couple of weeks here. And otherwise, I will post the that form again for any questions about Splinterfest, for the creative side of things, Land Rebellion, so on and so forth in the Discord, as well as the kind of art contest for Rog's Carhood by the end of the stream here.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chatter. A pleasure to speak with you as always. And let's go bring on his associate, WeirdBeard, for what we call the segment of Brawlhalla. And WeirdBeard, what the hell is going on with our player base, with tournaments, with brawls, and what's on your brain, and what's up with Splinterfest and what we're going to be doing there? There's like a ton of things.
I mean, more than anything else, I just want to talk Coliseum of Chaos, because it's going to be a massive tournament. We have a few new things that we want to show off, including the opening animatic that I thought people would love to be able to check out today.
Yeah, should we do that right now?
Yes.
All right, let's go check this thing out. And
Coliseum of Chaos. Make sure you're watching. It's happening this Sunday at noon PST. So that's 3 p.m. on the West Coast. Noon on the West Coast, making it 3 p.m. on the East Coast of the U.S.
And what is the Coliseum of Chaos?
It is chaos, because we're doing the very first ghost card tournament in the history of this game. Every single player that enters.
What is a ghost card tournament?
You get put on even playing field with every other player. Instead of your own owned card collection, you are competing against other players that have access to every single card for whatever rule set we put down, with cards completely maxed out. So if you've ever wanted to be able to play with every card that's been eluding you so far, these are the tournaments that it's going to happen in. I can actually tell you, because we had to pull this up the other day, the value of the cards overall. So if we are looking at, let me pull this up, because we're giving away so much. Like Chatter said, 100 land plots. I'm pretty excited to see what it looks like. So if we were to play the Gold League tournament, the Gold League Modern tournament, it's about $12,000 for all cards. For the Champion Wild tournament that we're running, the access that you have to all those cards added up is close to $12.4 million. It's a lot.
Good times.
So it's gonna be funny, because it's not only people who are competing skill based, but like there are going to be people who panic because it's the first time it's overwhelming. You know what I mean? To have access to every single card out there that you've ever imagined having. I'm so excited. Like, not only do we have it's streaming again live on the official Splinterlands Twitch and YouTube channels at noon PST, but we have like casters that are going to be there. We have Bulldog, Luthien, and Aftersound all live on a caster booth doing it, and being able to break down live play. It's bracket format, which I always think is like the most it's literally just head-to-head knockouts, which is the most exciting to really see kind of go down live. I I don't know. I'm so excited.
Is it best of anything?
So it's
Is it best of 3, best of 5?
best of 3 until the finals, and the finals are best of 5. Um,
Yeah,
and
that's old school. That's how we
it's
ran them back in the day.
and it's cool because the first day, so Saturday, when you first get to Splinterfest, it's all pool play like normal in our tournaments, right? But once you get to that top 16, you get qualified for the second day, and that's when it's all bracketed out. And it's gonna be just like, oh, it's gonna be so fun. Like I'm really pumped. We have tons of prizes. We have live on stage interviews. We're talking to people, full broadcast where, like we have like production directors. Like it's gonna look like ESPN. I'm just very excited.
Do you have a favorite in the tournament? Is there somebody that you think is most likely to pull it off?
No, listen, we played an internal staff one, right? And Homestead one. And it's because he like knew all the cards and everything like that. And that was cool. But turning it over to the players, like where everybody has theory crafted, you know what I mean? Like what cards they wish they had access to and what they wish they were able to do. Like there's gonna be plenty of upsets that I'm very excited for. And I know players don't have to dress up for interviews. You can just hang out in a t-shirt, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's definitely first world problems, but playing with like these massive decks. I mean, go check out Valhalla God. Like that account has like a lot of cards in it.
Mhm.
And it can be a little overwhelming to figure out like what is the right combination. And woe to the people that are playing, at one level for a long time and then trying to play at another level. It's a completely different game. Like I just every time that I've ever had to go from like diamond and champion back down to bronze,
Mhm.
I just think to myself, what the hell did these cards even do? Like how do you play this? Where's my heal? Where's my shield? Where's my, I don't know. It's just there's never a I just never know the combos anymore. It's like a completely different game. And now if you're, you guys have been playing with like your set of cards, which is your affordable set, and now you're like, oh, I have access to $12 million worth of cards in this. Your brain's gonna go get fried in an instant. And hopefully, some of that experience will make you say, oh crap, I really wish I owned this, because it was a lot of fun to be able to go pull out like some of the most absurd cards in the game.
Yes, and the other thing too is that, this is hopefully like esports is storylines. The same way that, ESPN doesn't survive by telling you the scores. They tell you the storylines that happen in like a Packers Steelers game or something, right? The same way here, we're going to see people coming from having no cards whatsoever to, hopefully making finals. Or maybe there's a big bad that like it's the Magnus Carlsen of Splinterlands, just absolutely dominant. Like we have to make stars out of our players, and putting them on the big stage with the fancy cameras and the lights and the whole production is how you do
And the
that.
stress,
Yeah, like
the
it's gonna,
heat coming down on you.
the
You're
thing
sweating, your
I've
palms are sweating.
I probably said this 100 times and I'll say it again, but like being in an arena with a bunch of people to where when a play happens and like somebody like it's a miss that would have ended the game and they come back and win it, having people yell and scream and freak out about it like is a totally different experience when you're in a room with 200 other people that are hype about it. You know what I mean? Like that's that's the
Yeah.
adrenaline that
Yeah.
once we get it, Splinterlands is going to be like, no, we need to do more of that. So like I have to
All
plead
right.
my
I'm
case.
FOMOing right now.
You need to.
I
I'm
want to hear it. I want to hear the people
pleading
shouting. I want to
my
be there.
case. If
All right.
you are at all
Yeah.
interested in tournaments and growing brawls and everything that we want to do, please tune in on either the official Twitch or YouTube channel of Splinterlands on Sunday at noon PST. Be there because this is the start of hopefully like this big getting people on stage. You know what I mean? It's on stage in Las Vegas today, on stage in the Philippines tomorrow, or Brazil or Germany, or like how cool would it be to do a world championship with qualifier events, right? Like that's dope. But this is
Yeah.
the first seed
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, we should probably make that happen. All right. Anything? That's a lot. I'm not trying to complain, but anything else that you wanna give life to while we're here?
I mean, that's my only focus, please. Like, we have more tournaments going up later today. After Splinterfest, it will hopefully be done through the end of October. It's been a bear getting this production done, but again, it's a 6-hour tournament. I love you so much. Please be there for me. If I've done anything for you, I need you to show up.
Awesome. Yeah. Let's all go play. Let's go hang out. Let's do the thing, and let's cheer on our buds. Let's cheer on our community. Not only are they going to win big fat prizes, but this is the biggest stage that they'll have in the past 4.5 years that we've done this, and I think it's pretty exciting for all the people that have been learning how to do this and putting time and attention to it. I think it's great. Thanks, WeirdBeard.
Thank you.
All right. So I'd like to go do a creative a creative brief with Nate, and just, let's talk about the, and along with that, we're going to do at least one introduction, if not more. But let's bring on Nate and kind of do a little creative brief here and just talk about, as per usual, Nate, my question for you is something like, what are the priorities? What are you working on? What's burning a hole in your objective or your to-do list? And also, just how are things? Like, you're a Floridian, like, how's Florida?
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who've been following the news, you know that Florida got hit by a hurricane, which affected most of the state. Some worse, some okay. I was very fortunate that we survived just fine. However, no power or internet, so I try to continue work from a hotel room, but the internet's a little sketchy, and therefore you can't see my face right now. But hopefully you can hear my audio just fine. There were several team members in Florida as well, including our narrative lead, and I'm so thankful and I feel so blessed that so far, from what we understand, everyone's okay. Everyone survived, so it's just picking up the pieces afterwards. In terms of making sure that none of that affects us preparing for Splinterfest, that's been our focus. Is forces of nature are speed bumps to us. We are going to keep moving forward full throttle to make sure that Splinterfest is everything that it can be. And hand in hand with that, just know that for those of you who are going, it's going to be where Creative will have several panels at Splinterfest. And these panels, we're pretty much going to make everyone in the room, everyone who attends, will be an honorary Creative team member for the day, because we're basically, nothing's off limits. We're going to throw everything and anything out there, all the concepts, all the planning, all the short term, all the long term, all the stuff, with, of course, the disclaimer that everything is subject to change, that these are all concepts for right now. But the fun part is those who attend will be able to make their voices heard, like right then and there. Like, clap if you like something, or if you don't like something, or whatever. I mean, in between the panels, or at lunchtime, or before or after Saturday or Sunday events, approach the Creative team and let us know, hey, I kind of like that, I didn't like that, maybe if you tweak this or tweak that. I think that's a big part of what makes us successful as a company, is that we feel very much like partners with the community, hand in hand, every step of the way. You guys are all very aware of the fact that there's not many companies out there like Splinterlands, which is doing weekly town halls like we are right now, answering questions, pivoting and adapting and overcoming to every situation that the market or the industry throws at us. Not because we're so awesome, but because we have such an awesome community. People who are willing to be passionate and voice what they think and what they feel about stuff. And we hear you guys. We listen to all that stuff. And then, of course, that includes the Creative team as well. And so it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. Splinterfest is going to be awesome, because like never before are we going to be able to sync up with the community, some of the most passionate members of the community in Vegas, and figure out, make sure that you guys have an opportunity to have your voices heard and contribute to what's going on. So with that in mind, I don't want to just stick with what's happening with those panels. I was very happy to see Reseller, who's one of our Mavericks, is probably listening right now. he shared with me the new holographic collectible cards that might be available only to those people who show up to Splinterfest in cosplay. So if you want one of these very limited cards, here's a let me see a graphic that he showed me. Let me try to grab this and drop it in. Okay, yeah, I thought those came out pretty cool.
Oh, those are
You know,
great.
it doesn't capture how cool they are being holographic and getting that angle and the lighting just right and everything, but these will be very exclusive and extremely limited print run for those ones. So I encourage you guys, if you're thinking about showing up in an outfit or whatever, then do it. It's gonna be it will be cool. I can't wait to see all the images hit Twitter and Instagram of all the cool people in costume.
I just want to fly as Dr. Blight. I mean, that'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. We got to see Dr. Blight there. You definitely got to do that. I'm trying to think what else. Other than that, we do have. I feel very honored and lucky by the skill and talent and passion of our team members, and one of those is Gautham, our guy who does pretty much most of our motion graphics. So if you read the weekly lore stories, if you've attended a town hall like this one right now, then you would have noticed that there are some cool little motion graphics at the beginning and ending of the town hall. Chances are Gautham did that, and he's playing a big part in making sure that in all our communications and marketing that there's some movement and sound and cool stuff going on with those.
Hey, Gautham, are you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Excellent. So it sounds like you do motion graphics, and maybe you could tell us, like, what was your background before you got to Splinterlands, and what are you trying to build the most, or what's your philosophy when trying to do motion graphics with this company?
Oh, I started out as a concept artist 6 years back for casual games. I slowly progressed on to become a 2D animator, after which I learned VFX, and I became a motion graphics artist, and slowly I learned sound design. Then it completed me as a motion designer. So now here I am building a motion design portfolio.
And so what is it that gets you excited when you're working with Splinterlands assets? Is there something particular about these that are better than others, or that like lend itself to this?
Yes, if there is one thing, the most best thing that I notice of all is the artwork that I get to animate is simply out of the world. Like it's simply on a very different level. It connects to me. I love each and every card that, like, the whole character, the whole lore behind them, the story that they bring, the depth they add to the whole game. That gets me excited.
And then how did you get connected with Splinterlands? Were you playing before? Did you apply out of the blue? How did you find us?
I was looking for some gig. Actually, I wanted to be part of a gaming firm that did like something very different from the usual. So I was looking out for positions, and I applied on Behance. And Nate, took a look at my work, and he interviewed me, and then decided like, okay, you know a bunch of stuff, so yes, you should be the right fit for this role. And it's been over a year now, almost 2 years. Yes.
Yeah, and so one of the VKs picked up that you have an accent. Are you from Oklahoma?
I'm from India, Bangalore.
Yeah, he is apparently not Oklahoman. Did you go to college for this? Did you go to university at all for this, or what? Like, how did you land in this?
Okay, I'm a computer science engineer to start with, but I got bored of writing computer code, so I went ahead to study masters in design. So I'm a postgraduate in animation. So yes.
All right, so this sounded like the career path from early on. Like why? How did you? Well, I guess if there's like some kind of animation that you're hoping to do, like if you had like an unlimited budget or something, what would you what kind of thing would you want to create? In particular for Splinterlands, not just like, you know, Avengers or something. But while you're here, if there was a big project to work on, what would be the like most exciting thing that you could think of?
I have two things that I've been always wanting to do. Um, we had Jared Scar's trailer made with the lore and the animations. So, and we have the weekly lore video upload on YouTube. Uh, like, I would want to make every single lore upload as detailed as Jared Scar's one.
Yeah, that's my dream too. I know that you know, Nate and I try to figure this stuff out. I think when the next bull market hits, that we'll be in a better position for us to start cranking out things like that. But yeah, I love that Jared Scar video. And when I'm thinking about like, hey, how do I want, you know, I'm not a huge fan of just like doing like regular ads. You know, I want content, and I want to put our content out there. It costs less money. It stays up more permanently. You know, there's a lot to content marketing that I think does a better job overall. And I think videos like that and telling our story and the story of our characters and the trying to blend in the story of our players and our community, I think that's how we're going to set ourselves apart. So I'm certainly all in favor of that. And then what you had a second one? What else is on your brain?
Oh, I recently learned 3D modeling and animation. I do a lot of physics simulations like fire, magical stuff like fairy dust and electricity, lightning. Like you need some kind of a character to have spells around them, conjuring magic. So I'm here. I could simulate it for you.
Nice. Well, this is definitely a place for that. We got a bunch of wizards and orcs that are gonna need some kind of magical simulation. Yeah, it sounds like you've been a really good fit for this company, and it seems like both from a career path of wanting to work for a gaming company and putting out motion graphics, and us needing somebody. It sounds like this has been a good fit, and you know, I'm glad that you're here. Thanks for working on these projects. And if there's one thing that you want to leave the players with, is there anything that you kind of want to emphasize or what you're excited about next?
So I'm really looking forward to Splinterfest. There are a lot of cool stuff that's coming up with Splinterfest.
Awesome. Yeah, if you're not listening, you know, Splinterfest is going to be kind of this like real. The players always want us to be like working in the perfect fishbowl, and they want it so that they can see exactly what we're doing, see what we're thinking, see what we value, see what is our priority, and they want all of this information as much as we can give it. And you really can't get any more informed or get any closer to like the people that are actually building these projects than by being at Splinterfest. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. Now, Nate, I think that not only do we have one introduction, but I think there's two introductions for the creative team. Is that correct?
Semi. And while we're saying goodbye to Gautham, we're talking Splinterfest. I'll drop one more piece of Gautham magic in the chat, so you can kind of get hyped for Splinterfest and the cool little topography and animation stuff that he does. The other creative is actually not in the creative department. He's on the product team. I think he works with New Ventures. So I think that would be Sean, right?
Sean, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Welcome, Sean.
Yeah.
So who are you? What do you do? And what's happening?
Sure. So my name is Sean. I'm the graphic designer for the product team. A lot of the work I do is more on the internal side, but like business cards, the employee handbook, that sort of thing. But I think the audience would probably most recognize my work in the form of the roadmaps that are shown off here on the town hall.
Oh, nice. Yeah, those things are gorgeous.
Oh,
And so we didn't share the employee handbook with like the entire community, but the there was like it was either harassment, there was something about discipline, and all of these corporate handbooks are like as boring as can be, and they're all a buzzkill to read, and all of them are basically miserable. And this one for our company is actually the first one that didn't feel like a total corporate waste of time, and was actually pretty funny because you put in, I think her name is Ava the Crusher, the the gladiator card right there for like the discipline review. So she's sitting there with her mace and her grimace, and like I was just chuckling to myself of like, yes, that's how you take our characters and our lore and build it into these like horrible corporate documents to make them like a somewhat livable experience to have to sit through or be a part of. So kudos to that. I mean, it is the only time in my 20-year professional career that I've chuckled reading an HR handbook.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. That's the goal, right? Like, take these things that are boring and miserable to read, and try to, find some levity in them, make them like fun and exciting to look at.
So, what are you working on these days? Like, so we have some of this corporate stuff. Like, what's your next biggest project or next highest priority?
Yeah, so the roadmaps are always a constant. I'm working on like 6 or 7 different roadmaps. Some of them are internal, some of them have yet to be made public. And aside from that, I've been working a lot with Genesis League. I've been working on the different logos for Genesis League, but a lot of talented hands have touched those logos, so I can't take sole ownership of that.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're kind of brought in on all these different projects at different levels for whatever pieces that we might need. Yeah, I mean, even though we're not like the smallest company in the world anymore, like we still feel pretty small and entrepreneurial, where it's like, there's not always a person to do the thing. Like some of these big companies, you'll have one person that is dedicated full time to this one task. And that's just not who we are. We do too much random stuff. We work on too much, like, too many different projects that are moving in. Like, how do we get this brand out there, and how do we make partnerships, and how do we build one of the most interconnected gaming platforms that this planet's ever seen? So I don't want to say that I'm self-deprecating a little to say that it's too random. There's a very tight vision in terms of like what it is that we are trying to build, and we have to execute on it. But that leaves us with a lot of different projects that we have to produce, and that there's a lot of different material. So, thank you for being flexible, because you got to wear a lot of hats in this gig and be able to kind of navigate around that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's your background? How did you get into either this company or into this space, or specifically this kind of like graphic design?
Yeah, so I mean, I've always been into like drawing and creating my entire life. So like this career path was just kind of natural for me. I went to school at the Savannah College of Art and Design in Georgia. While I was in art school, I kind of cut my teeth in the creative world doing band merchandise. Then after college, I did a total 180 from like metal bands to making children's wall decals. And after that, I worked for a company making kind of custom artwork for arcade cabinets. And eventually I kind of like branched off and started started working for myself. I started my business, Zoo Castle Creative, and I did various design things in that job, and it was kind of serendipitous. Like this summer, Alicia, the VP of product design here at Splinterlands, she reached out to me on social media, and she said, there's a job opening here at Splinterlands for graphic designer. Is that something you'd be interested in? And I took a look, and I've always loved games. It's been a dream of mine to like work in the gaming industry. And I took a look at Splinterlands, and I was smitten. So the rest is just history.
Nice. I feel bad that I didn't offer you some sweet tea to go start off this conversation if you're going to be from Georgia.
Well, I don't live in Georgia now. It was just for college.
Okay. Okay. So what if there's like something that you want to leave the audience with, something that you're excited about, or stoked to be working on, or that you think the community really ought to know? Anything in that realm?
Yeah, I mean, like the perk of my job is that I get to see all of this like up and coming info when it comes to the roadmaps. And I'm really excited with like the direction that the company's growing, and I think that people should stay tuned because there's a lot of exciting announcements that haven't like happened yet.
There are leaks happening. I'm coming after you, Sean. It's like here, all these senior folks get to know all this, and we need you to draw it. So if there's a leak, you're my man. I'm going to first.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we gotta be careful about that, because we gotta make sure that all the information is given out to the community at the same time. But yeah, there's a lot of cool partnerships being built. I mean, that I can list off 3 giant companies just off the top of my head that we are actually 4 or 5. Crap, there's a lot. It's almost an embarrassment of riches, and the question is, how many of these things can we execute on? But yeah, there's a lot of things that, especially in a bear market, you wouldn't be like, hey, that's when they're going to do their best building. But it turns out that bear markets, things settle down. You don't have to compete with every single person and their mother. It allows us to kind of get some nice footings in there, and because we're conservative with our money, we get to survive this thing, whereas a lot of companies that were like Terra Luna to the moon and lost their shirt and can't keep operating. So I think we're in a good spot. We have some nice things coming along, and I don't know, I'm just looking forward to it. So thank you for your help in helping to explain it. I know that the roadmaps have been a hit, and both in the boardroom with the owners of Splinterlands, but also with the community as we explain what we're working on. And I'm excited for the updates so that players know, as we're now in October, and we'll kind of have another, I want to get like a little bit of a section of the show really dedicated to the roadmap and where we are with them. That'll be a focal point, and thanks for your work on them.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for having me. That's great to hear.
Awesome. Okay, so now we have a new segment here that we haven't shown off before, but I think this is a good one. We have a support tutorial, and we're asking the support star Gandalf to come on and kind of walk us through this support tutorial and just tell us like, hey, what are we doing, and what should the players know, and what is this current tutorial about? Do we have audio?
Hi.
There we go. Yeah, could you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me,
All right,
Walton?
Yeah, coming in loud and clear. So walk us through, what is this tutorial, and what do you want to share today?
Okay. Well, let's start with why we want to do these tech tips. The support team thought it would be fun to use the town hall as a platform to get people more familiar with the frequently asked questions that we get at the support department, and we were hoping to give a tip every town hall, and hopefully we can help some people with that, and maybe prevent some questions, or maybe even answer questions that you didn't even know you had until you heard it. So that's like why we want to do the tech tips, and if the people like it, we can do it more often.
Yeah. So which one is this tech tip? What are you teaching us today?
Okay. The article that we picked today is about secure. It's called Securely Backup and Store Your Hive Keys offline. In crypto, there's a phrase: not your keys, not your wallet. So this means if someone else owns your keys, they can just get all your assets out, and that's something we think everybody needs to be aware of when playing a blockchain game. Luckily, this doesn't happen very often, but when it does happen, us support people are always hurt ourselves too that it had happened. So we thought this would be the most important thing to share with the people. This article. So like I said, it's about how do you store your keys.
What would be your primary piece of advice for how you store your keys?
It's important to of course keep them private, and how you can do that, there are different ways. Some people like to print them out on a paper and put them in a vault. What I personally do is I have 2 external hard drives, and I keep them. I save them digitally, but of course this hard drive is never connected until I need my keys. And I use 2 because if one breaks down, then I still have the keys on the other hard drive. So for me, that's the most secure way, because it's not online. That's the most important thing for me. So no one can enter them as long as the USB cable is not plugged in. What I also do is I have them encrypted with BitLocker, which is very secure. But this, of course, also gives another risk. Because it's possible that you forget your BitLocker password after 5 years. You never needed your keys because you always played, and then all of a sudden you need them. So that's also a very important aspect of this. Don't over-secure things. Just secure it well. Make sure you don't share your keys with anyone, but make sure you have them when you need them.
All right. Well, thanks for that tech tip. I think we should keep going forward and getting other tech tips out there in terms of, anything that like comes up in support a bunch. I hope that we can help take a moment and talk to the community about best practice and how we can make sure that their transactions are safe and effective, and that all their needs are met. So thank you, Gandalf, for kind of walking us through that. So is this, Gandalf, is this your first time on air?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh my goodness. Well, I probably should have started with that, but do you want to tell us anything about like where you're from and just kind of, the work that you're typically doing on the team? Like, are you from Oklahoma?
Yeah, I understand that you say that, but no, I'm from the Netherlands.
All right. He's Dutch. Yeah, people can hear it. So like, what do you do for the company? Like, what's the role, and then what's the responsibilities as part of the gig?
I'm currently working in the Zendesk development team. So we're part of support, and we try to develop Zendesk in a way that support needs it to provide even better support.
Yeah, I think some people know what Zendesk is, but there's probably a lot that don't. Like, do you want to describe like it as a ticketing system, or what else does Zendesk cover?
Yeah, exactly. It's a ticketing system. So when you go to our website, you can create a ticket. It has a back end, and there we see all the tickets, and we can sort them out, give them tags, so they are guided to the correct department. Another part of what Zendesk also provide is guide, and that enables you to provide these articles that we are writing. And my part in that is that I review them, and we manage the process. I think I was one of the main responsibles for creating the whole process around it. So what happens is that the support agents, they write or they suggest articles because they had questions from people and they didn't have a complete answer, or it would be faster for them to provide just a link. And so then it comes on our Jira board. Then we decide and we figure out, isn't this covered already? Should this be combined with other articles? Then when we give the approval to start, then the writers start writing the articles, and then we after they have written it, we double check it if it's correct with the style guide that we created, and it gets published, and hopefully then people can use it for the.
Yeah, how many views have these things gotten? It's like in the thousands or tens of thousands, aren't they?
Yeah, there are some articles that have thousands of views already, and you can really notice it when you search on Google on Splinterlands with some keywords behind it. You can notice that we usually are on the first page already.
Yeah, the support links are definitely like, if you're a noob and you're trying to figure out how do I do this, short of having the tutorial built in the game, most of your questions get answered by these kind of support tutorials. Yeah, the team's been doing a bang up job. I mean, we asked them like, hey, why don't you come in to support Valhalla? Right as we're expanding, that's when we really needed, as many people as we could. And not only do we need the people, but we needed to give them tools and all this other stuff. So, have you hit your 1 year anniversary at this point, Gandalf?
Yeah, I have.
Was that back in July or something?
I think I started in May.
May. Okay. Yeah. So definitely as we're trying to like navigate all of the growth and the pieces that we're concerned about, that it seems like the ticketing system's working well. It seems like the support employees are happy with the system that they're using. And it seems like the players have been having a far better experience. So thank you for your work on that. And thanks for helping keep our team and our community, functioning and successfully dealing with the challenges that they face.
Yeah, at your service, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be part of this. And thanks to Biz and you and everyone who gave me a chance. I'm very thankful, and it's always has been a great dream to do something at a gaming company. So yeah, thanks for that.
No, glad to have you here. Thank you for your work. Okay, so I think the last segment of the show is going to go to Splinterlands TV before we open it up to questions. So let's go talk about some shout outs. I know I'm going to have to go do that. Maybe there's a clip of the week. Is the station manager Ron here? Is my favorite clown around?
Oh yeah, you can't get rid of me.
You're right. I couldn't even dream of it, Ron. So how's the show, or how's the station doing? How are the streamers doing? Are they all incorporating, the Baron toolbox? Like, just give me kind of like a short heads up on, what does their streaming look like, and how is it going, and just big picture stuff.
Well, we've been working on a lot of stuff, but it's been like actually last night at 2 a.m. I released some software for the streamers to help them manage their streams better, make things smoother. The audience isn't really going to notice any of that, except for maybe the shows might be a little bit better coordinated for the start and the ends, to where it just actually should look like nothing happens to you on the audience side. It just looks like normal television. One show switches to another, and it just keeps on going, which, by the way, guys, a lot of magic has to happen in the background for all that to work. So, but when it all works well, you don't notice anything happening. So
yeah. It's like, there's no fanfare. There's no fanfare when things work.
Right.
Like the second everything breaks, there's going to be 8 million people that are angry at you, but you do it right. You don't even get an attaboy. So here's an attaboy to the stream team. You guys have been killing it.
They absolutely have.
So let me do some of these shout outs. An old favorite and an old star comes back. We got Boot Tops here. Boom Burst, Spike Loins girded stand.
Wait, I don't think you pronounced that right. Try that again.
Spike Loins girded stand.
Okay.
No, yeah, I think that's a country in Europe. Okay, we got Bobcar J, Lordo. We got M Howie, Crypto Prime, Canada 804, Hold My Cards, and Jehu Leader. I think that's how I want to pronounce that. Those are the guys that were getting shout outs because they're watching the stream so much. Do you have any metrics on like how many minutes our stream was watched, say in September? Do you know that number off the top of your head, or
off the top of my head? No, but I mean, I got this page open right now. I can see for just the month of September.
Yeah, just the month of September, because you know that we just finished September. You know, aren't we up to like 2,100 followers right now or something?
Well, so I just let's do one thing at a time. So for the month of September, I actually have so September 4th to October 3rd, 2.03 million minutes watched.
2.03 million minutes. So if we go and we take, people like your voice, Ron. 203,000. We divide that by 60. That's 33,833 hours. And I guess if I divide that by 24, that gets me to 1409. And if I divide that by 365, then we listened to roughly 4 years worth of content
just
last month as a community.
Yeah, just in the last 30 days.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I don't know what people are hoping for, but that's a lot of feedback. That's a lot of people like listening to shows and not just listening to a minute or two, but like sticking around and participating and diving really deep into these things. So
yeah, no, the growth has been incredible. The community has been incredible. The streamers have been knocking it out of the park. I mean, I can't ask for like everything has just been going so wonderful. I can't ask for anything better right now. We keep getting new people too, like more and more people. I just interviewed some even more potential streamers this last week. So expect after Splinterfest to even see some extra faces, and we might actually be if 100%, if not really close to 100% of 24/7 content, which is just going to be absolutely incredible. And
yeah, that was my task to Ron. Ron, I said like a year ago, I said, "Hey, Ron, I think we need streamers, and we need streamers around the clock." And he was like, "You're nuts." And I'm like, "No, let's do it." And kudos to you, kudos to the team, because that's exactly what we've been producing. And now we have people listening literally an entire year's worth of time in just 1 month. And I feel like that's a lot. Our guys are listening around the clock, hours and hours. It's fantastic.
And we got some special things that are coming up that I think is going to skyrocket that number and make this look like Kitty's numbers.
Oh, what is that?
Well, that's still going through internal stuff, so we'll have to talk about that later.
Fair enough.
But I do want to say,
tease it.
I want to tease it. Yeah, I want to get you guys curious. But yeah, we do have 2,122 followers as of right now. And of those followers, we have 177 subscribers, which means those are people who are contributing to our streamers. None of that goes to Splinterlands TV or the company. It goes directly to the streamers. So 177 of you guys are choosing to support them, and thank you very much for that support. But now you guys want to hear the clip of the week, right?
Yeah, let's go dive into that.
So this one right here is going to require a little bit of backstory. So Silence, it's spelled P Silence, but his name is Silence.
The P is silent.
The P is silent, yes. He is, he does he does some wacky things on his stream, but he was opening some Riftwatcher packs, and he promised the viewers, if he pulls a gold foil legendary, he would shave his facial hair. And and you might be able to guess what happened after that.
But it's happening.
I'm
just going to shave it right here, right now with this little guy. It's just going to fall on the floor, and that's how it is. Let's go, guys. You can hear that buzz? All right. Start with the mustache. Oh no. I haven't been like... Oh, it kind of hurts a little. You can tell that this isn't a quality device. That's what I get for paying $4 for it. Oh, it looks good. Oh, hey, it actually. Oh, gross. Oh, $4. I mean, I'm not gonna complain. It's hard to get it all off. Oh, it's beautiful though. Oh yeah. Oh, it's so worth it, man. That Agor is so worth it. Here we go. Oh, this part, I'm gonna miss these. Look, it's even got.
So yeah, that's you know, I mean, a gold foil legendary Agor. You can't, you know, I guess that's a fair trade, right?
Yeah.
Would you shave
No,
your
I mean,
would you
would
shave
I
your
shave-
chops for that?
I haven't shaved my chops in about a year. Although I was gonna grow my beard out because now it's getting cold around where I live. But I said I can't do that to the guys, so I'm gonna keep my chops until we're through Splinterfest, and then it'll be a beard for the winter.
Good plan. Good plan.
And I just don't see shaving. These beautiful chops aren't going away, Ron. I've gotten many gold foil legendaries. Maybe if some of these deals come through, I'll shave my tops. But even then, I don't. It's not the look I'm going for.
What would it take to have you shave your chops?
Man, I can't even talk about these things publicly. Giant deals, Ron. Giant deals. And
okay.
And I'll shave my chops. You know that there's a couple throughout the company, right? There's a partnership for a game. There's a partnership to kind of spread our messaging around and our content and our games around. There's some financial things. I mean, there's a variety of things that are big enough that I might shave my chops for them. We'll see. How many channel points for Aggie to shave? You are not going to be able to do that one, sir. Yeah, maybe when SBX hits $1, I'll shave too. You know, that could be a fun one. I might even do it on air if that's what the people wanted.
Do a full screen town hall special.
Yeah. Aggie shaves for $1 SPS. I would do that. That seems like fun. Okay, so I think that's what we needed to do for this.
Yeah,
and you know what? I'm expecting. Go on, Ron.
I want to leave everybody with a little bit. So first of all, there's going to be no clip of the week this coming week because obviously there's no town hall next week. The town hall will be live at Splinterfest. And then also there's not going to be no streamer spotlight, but all of that stuff will be back the following week. And if you guys are going to Splinterfest, I will be there, so I'll see you there.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so there's been some spiciness, you know, especially around the proposals and whatnot. So I'm expecting some of that. So I just want to preempt any kind of discussion around the upcoming questions. I want everybody to make sure that when it's your turn to ask questions, I would just deliver them in a professional manner. You guys are welcome to whatever opinion you want. You can harass me or poke at me however you want, and that's fair game. But my one thing is just please do your best to deliver questions professionally. So I have the doc. Maybe you can share out the doc that we're going to go cover. I think it's just one page of questions here. All right, so can we get an update on the ECR issues in Champion League where ECR has not diminished impact? I think that there's already been a couple. I don't have the right people on the channel for that. We need a couple of the devs, and I don't have them today, so that's probably not the group. But you know, we're constantly watching over the ECR stuff and the rewards. Why did we not see a big day 2 rewards this season? So I think that comes down from us kind of averaging it out. So rather than it just being the last 24 hours, it's now like the last 14 days. So we're trying to smooth that out just a little bit by taking averages. So I think that's where that 2-day, it wasn't a giant spike on day 2. And I think that's where that came from. Would the game consider limiting the number of battles per day? Leaderboard should be the best performance on a certain number of battles. It shouldn't be unlimited battles to reach the top. I don't think that we want to limit the number of battles per day. You know, like if you're going to go out to Splinterfest and maybe you're not planning on doing battles, you should be able to go bring your battle or your ECR down to like 5%, and then you can have it recover. So how you spend your time, I don't want to like force a certain number of how you're gonna manage your play style. In terms of the best performance, we constantly look at leaderboard stuff, and it's still paying out in DC. So there's stuff around the leaderboard. It's not super high priority relative to, say, getting out land that we're a year behind on. But I do want to visit that at some point. Rift Watchers. When can we get the Rift Watcher promo airdrop? When can we get the first normal Rift Watcher airdrop card? When can we see the stats for the next airdrop? So we're waiting for some of the proposal stuff to kind of wind its way through, and then we can start working on the first ones. And then when can we see the stats? I don't know. With Splinterfest right around the corner, it's hard to prioritize that too. But I know that's something that Matt's working on. Is there any plan to increase mana cap of battles in higher leagues now that we have higher mana cards from Rift Watchers? I believe it's already happened, and that's part of why we're doing it. But I've always been a big advocate for the high mana cap battles. I think they're more fun. But we'll see if that's something that the community wants a lot. If we're not, having the range of battles that people want us to have, then that's something that we can explore. And I'm sure that we'll get some feedback about all the things when we're at Splinterfest. Miscellaneous. Becoming more and more clear that quality bots are more skilled than 95% of the players, and these bots continue to become more skilled and more accessible as we move forward. How is Splinterlands going to maintain a true game and not just turn it into a DeFi project operated by bots? Well, this is part of why we want this land expansion. We think that land is a method to make it so that you can get items and spells. And when you get to multiple layers of this kind of combat system, we think that's one of the ways to deal with bots, is to go implement more skill. I mean, if the bots are really more skilled, then that might be a problem. But ultimately, it's up to the players. If we've eliminated kind of extra incentives to bot, and then it's really just down to who is playing best. The onus is on the players to be the best players that they can be, whether they're battling bots or anybody else. It's not an exploit to be good via bot. The team has made multiple great adjustments for the upcoming games that should improve the gaming experience economies, such as market fees to the DAO, card-based ECR, and account progression. Will some of these changes make their way over to Splinterlands, or is it too late for that? No, I think we want to do a lot of that, but just, the difficulty level is like orders of magnitude harder to do it for Splinterlands. Introducing something that is operating, or like changing something that's already operating, is like repairing a battleship during a sail on the ocean. It's like fixing a plane mid-flight. That's hard. Starting up some new project and making it work a certain way, that's a whole lot easier. So we benefited from some of the things that we learned in the first part of this to then, put into new ventures. And if, I think once we get a little further on like tech modernization and then on card market, and, once we can free up some devs from some of the things that we're really trying to get out the door, then we can come around to some of the other pieces that we know is a better experience, and, improve quality of life in general. But, some of what we're doing right now is really focusing on new pieces of the game. When will the sale of the Splinterfest promo card occur? Sometime after Splinterfest. I've pinned it in a couple places. There's some things that are out there. But yeah, there's good stuff coming for that promo card. Neutral Summoner. You're probably going to want it. I'm pretty certain it's kick-ass. Okay, I play and rent out cards on the same account. There used to be a cooldown feature that allowed us to sort cards so we could easily figure out which cards were rentable and which ones were not. This API is no longer available. Is the team working on something that will allow third parties to know that information to make renting and playing on the same account easier? And what would that time frame look like if so? I think we already had it, and then we took it out for a variety of reasons. There was some kind of exploit around the cooldown system. I don't fully remember.
I can speak on it. Yeah, people would do is they would be able to see what cards their opponent most recently played, because they're the ones that just went on cooldown. So you could essentially just like cheese your way through fights. So that's been removed. It probably won't be coming back in, just because that's the way that people exploited it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. My thought for you is you probably want to go put cards that you're renting on one account and cards that you're playing on a separate account. And, that's part of the joy of, every account can have its own purpose. And that's what I'd suggest. Okay, so I've navigated this pretty well. I know that there's a lot of questions that community members are having and they want to know about. So what I'd like to do, this is the longest period that I've been able to manage in a while. But here, let's go open this up to everybody and let's go take 40 minutes of questions. And note that the sad part here is that I don't have devs. So if you have very heavy dev questions, I might not be able to answer these, and I'm still going to have to punt. But ask your questions. Some folks are clearly ready. All right, Dishonesty is asking, and hey, just one thing, please don't repeat your questions over and over. You only have to ask it once. I'm going to go down the list in order. If I skip a question, somebody normally yells at me, and I'm going to do my best to help with this. Is there a possibility of a partnership consisting of MMA-based GLS with an organization whose name rhymes with KFC? There's certainly a possibility for partnership with MMA games. Whether or not the rhymes of KFC in particular will come along, I don't know. I think we got to keep growing to go help attract more brands. But that's definitely a brand that I want to see here. But to date, I haven't had direct conversation with them. Given how well Splinterlands TV works, can you give us some more options for our channel points? Some of us are not that interested in shoutouts, and I have challenge point for days. If these points can buy useful stuff, we could have even higher numbers. Rondon, you know what I'm referring to. Yeah, maybe there's something that we can do. I don't know. I don't think it can't have value. The doing stuff for value is really scary because it's so easy to just like mock or mimic that you're actually watching something when you're not.
Or not only that, there's legal stuff that's involved with that as well. And I think it breaks the Twitch terms of service. There's quite a few things, but we are actually looking into some really cool ideas from the community, and also just trying to scope out what can be possible. So yeah, that's all stuff that's on the plans. We have some higher priority stuff to handle right now, but definitely look for more channel point features in the future.
Cool. Bear markets often provide the best opportunities to find and recruit talent. Is Splinterlands Corp still aggressively hiring, or is hiring slowed down? What is the current employee count, and what is the goal of the next 6 to 12 months? So we've slowed down a lot. The bear market is definitely a challenge for us to navigate around. We're doing pretty well. I'm actually really proud of how well I've helped steer this ship through the bear market. This is the kind of thing that just completely wrecks companies. And it's been annoying for us, but it hasn't been dire or anything. So I'm pretty proud of where we're at. We have slowed down on hiring. The current employee count is something like 150 to 170. That's including contractors. I don't think that includes the streamers. But yeah, what's the goal for the next 6 to 12 months? The goal of the next 6 to 12 months is just get out of this bear market. So my plan is to stay nimble and at the size that we're at up until the next bull run starts happening. And then with that, the goal is to hire aggressively and grow for the next cycle here. Zertz, and welcome Zertz. I don't think we've ever spoken before. Question: in 2023, is it a feasible request for virtual Splinterfest for those that cannot make it to the physical location? Not a cam at the show, but something like Digicon for just the Splinterlands community. So I'm working on something, kind of working with the Gamer Jibe or Inverse platform to make a metaverse for us. And I have some ideas around how trading can work and auction houses and all that stuff could function. So my hope is that you kind of would end up with, I don't know that it's like a virtual Splinterfest, because there's nothing that's going to take away from us all meeting there. But maybe some of these kind of meetings could happen in the Splinterverse. I promise you, I'm not going to name it the Splinterverse, but for now, in the Splinterverse, we could do it there. Question: what do you think of either A, overriding the downvote to extend the pre-sale window on the Riftwatcher sale, or B, a revote due to misvote? I think it's very, very important to set a precedent about deciding what issues the DAO has authority to vote on or not. It is also apparent that lumping two issues together in Prop 4, at least one respected and well-loved community member with 1 million SPS voting weight to downvote solely on the refund issue. So a vital issue got lumped in with something not truly related and caused people to vote on one issue or the other. What do you think of overriding the downvote? I mean, people get to vote with their stake. And so they definitely get to upvote or downvote. a revote due to misvote. I mean, I don't think there's something like a misvote. You know, you guys, you had 7 days to go figure out what you wanted to vote. There's ways that we could sort of like bring other proposals or other thoughts to how we interact with the community, or what the DAO is going to do, or what Splinterlands will code up on behalf of the DAO. But you know, I don't want to like just, if a proposal doesn't go the way I want, or the community wants, or somebody in the community wants, like the answer is not to just browbeat them with the same proposal over and over and over again. And part of 4 was that, like, you know, the putting in the amount of money in 4 exceeded my capacity as CEO to just like say, yes, I'll do that. So by not involving the board, that is what I could have provided at the time. And that's why 4 had 2 parts, because I had certain limitations and I was trying to do that in a fast manner so that we could get all this dealt with. You know, if you look back up, I was already getting questions of like, you know, why is it taking 2 weeks? We want our money and we want this to move forward. So, you know, there's different people in this community that always want different things. And I'm doing my best to balance, hey, I need this refund process quickly. I'm going to miss out on other things because of it. And hey, you got to give us time to go process these refunds and do all this stuff. So there's no way everybody in this community will ever be happy. I've come to terms with that. Okay, at this point in time, it is vital to draw the line in the sand between company responsibility and where the DAO has jurisdiction. Neil made an excellent point that the DAO should vote on SBS changing matters, and I agree. Anything else should be a company decision. The Rift Watcher presale was a result of a buggy UI and should be resolved decisively by the company, not the DAO. There's a huge divide in the community over both the presale resolution and the DAO authority. This involved tens of thousands of dollars for some people, and add insult to injury, if they missed the presale window because there was no cutoff, then they missed a chance to divert those funds into the node licenses that sold out of the trance in that one same day. Yeah, right. And there's nothing I can do about that retroactively, right? So the goal is to help people process these things. And let's see, there's a huge divide. I mean, that came out, you know, we're seeing some of these proposals get up to 85% of the vote, and other of these are crashing at less than 40. So, you know, there's some of these things that they are split on. Matt has said that proposal votes are not set in stone. This is an incredibly important precedent setting situation that deserves a lot more attention than it is getting. I implore you to do what you always have, and do the right thing. Extend the presale window, or at the very least, give the community a chance to vote on this issue alone. Well, you know, I don't think that many people had a problem with the. I hear what you're saying, and I respect that opinion. Part of what I was reading when I went, you know, I spent days on this. I like basically stopped everything else I was doing to just focus on that proposal. And when I read through all the comments on the post, there was just very strong Nota 4 sentiments. And the Nota 4 sentiment was not, you know, Splinterlands should not offer a refund. The biggest reason why they didn't want it was that the 3 minutes was too long. And I had a handful of people that said, you should try 10 minutes. And I said, there's zero way that's getting passed here. And even 3 minutes, I didn't, you know, I thought it might pass, but apparently it didn't, and wasn't even really close. And my perspective is that had very little to do with should Splinterlands refund packs. I mean, I don't think anybody's like that upset about us refunding anything. I really think it came down to the 3 minute window. And like, you know, in the future, if I also haven't gotten the sense that people want a 3 minute window in the future. In most of them, it's like, you know, if you're going to have difficulties, join a pool. You know, there's like zero sympathy for like a 3 minute window. So I hear you, Fat Jimmy, and I appreciate that. My experience of reading and going through that, although certainly not scientific in terms of like, you know, keeping track of everything. I would just invite you to go look at those posts and do it not just like in a mindset of this should pass, but try to get into like a neutral observer mode and just read through all the comments about 4, and you'll see over and over again that people didn't want it, and they didn't want it not because of Splinterlands refunding money, but because they didn't want to see the terms of the sale change, and further, they didn't want to see the terms of the sale include like a 3 minute window. Does the small guy who fetches my SBS have a name? I don't think he does. If not, can you name him? I mean, you can certainly propose something. I mean, we could have a name for him. I like that. Is that a question or a guide article? Question: when will land rewards start? I think we're targeting the 18th. Both for TD packs and for land. I think that's coming the 18th. But you know that stuff is always TBD. You know, you never know exactly until it's live. Any updates on the Warner Music Group project? You know, we keep working with them. I met with them last week. Today's Monday, so it must have been last week. So I met with them last week, and we're continuing to kind of scope and design. And I think we have a neat project. We're waiting for some feedback back from them now, and we'll see where that takes us. Question: how many total Splinterfest tickets have been sold so far? Chatter, do you know that? Are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here. I don't know the exact number, but it's about 300 so far.
I can give an exact number. An exact number is 282.
Nice. Yeah. And so 282 of your closest Splinterlands friends will be out there. Man, this name, EIJFFEL. It's kind of like Eiffel, but it's like Eifel Bridge. Question: what does the team think of inputting the staking requirements for earning in this game? I love it. I'm all for it. My challenge is that before I do anything like that, I need to get delegation functioning. And the problem with that is that before we can really get delegation functioning, we need to go get the nodes operating. So nodes are gonna start working, you know, on this end, I think in Q4. So, you know, we got to get that running in parallel to production, kind of as this cluster of nodes that we own and operate. And then once we're confident that that works, we'll open it up for everybody. And part of that will be staking. And once we have the ability to do staking and delegation of SBS, then I want to start putting in staking requirements. So I think it's hugely important. I tried to get it pushed further, but you know, I don't think that if I go to you and say everybody has to have 10,000 SBS staked, like you guys are going to kill me. And if I say everybody needs to have SBS staked, but don't worry, you can delegate it and rent it, then that's like a way smaller ask. So that's not like a set number. Don't yell at me about 10,000. I just pulled a number out of my butt. But hopefully that gives you a sense of why it's so important that we have the delegation piece. Chance is asking, what is the current pipeline for getting a proposal to be voted on by the DAO? Specifically, I'm interested in removing DEC LP rewards to a vote after talking about it with other Mavs to see if the community is interested in that. Do we need to post in DAO discussions or a suggestion website and get votes? You can talk about it for the next little bit. I don't think we're going to get any proposals or anything up in the next 2 weeks. And we are looking at how we can go. Like I put it on the list, and the team is talking about how do we get the public proposals. I'm a little nervous about public proposals because there's only like so much that we can code at any given time. So you know, there's got to be some kind of process for this, and we don't have it. But that's not for like lack of want. You know, I really think it's let's get Splinterfest behind us, and that is I wouldn't say it's my top priority, but that's at the like short radar because I know that folks want that. There's just nothing that's going to happen between now and Friday before we all head out to Vegas, and then there's some stuff that isn't going to happen until right after Vegas. We have a couple like major releases shortly thereafter, so October is looking pretty rough. But maybe in November or December we can start trying to think through what that might look like. Maybe there's like a pre-proposal page on like the suggestions website that then if you get enough votes, you can turn into an actual proposal. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I'm just spitballing here. Tim Sean is asking, is it possible that we could see our own card cooldowns when logged in? This would hide it from other users, but still allow players to track if they have or have not played with their own cards recently. I don't know. WeirdBeard, you've been close to that. What do you think about? I think if you turn it on at all.
Yeah, I think it's blockchain. If it's on, people are going to find it. You know what I mean? And I think it's kind of an exploit overall. I'm sure there has to be a way that we could make it fit, but I'm not a developer, so unfortunately, my brain's not big enough to have an answer for it.
I'm getting some when questions. So why don't I pull up my here's this. So question, when will it be possible for third-party programs tools to apply for higher API limits? I've released a Discord bot that gives guilds info on brawl results and progress on each brawl progression, but I've been reluctant to advertise it more since I'm already starting to hit API limits with only 30 Discord servers using it with 40 guilds. Yeah, I don't have a good answer for that. Maybe that's more of a bull market thing. And maybe that's more when we have the nodes live. We're still looking to like not have our server costs go through the roof. So maybe there's a paid service, or maybe there's something like if you stake enough SPS, you can get more. It's something that we talk about, but it's not something that we've been able to devote a lot of time to. So, again, maybe after Splinterfest, it's something that can get some more legs. But getting more useful tools and maybe having an SPS staking cost associated with them, I think, is a way to go. When tech modernization? So tech modernization is currently in break fix, which means that we've launched it, we're working on it, and we're going to try to get it out. Maybe that can come earlier. At this point, things are probably pushed to the 18th. This week being Splinterfest, and then the week after that is when we might start getting stuff back. But it's been rolled out once or twice and still needed some tweaks. So it is currently happening. When land, every time you guys ask for land, a minnow dies, Ron. Don't you know that? You shouldn't do that. When Silas, I don't know. When Boss Monsters is on the list. Maybe that's a 2023 thing. I hope so. When Gladius card tournaments, sometime after Cryptomancer gets home and can just be stable.
Correct.
Will Binance ever list SPS? I don't know. You should ask that question to Binance. I think that's also after TechMod. Can we have a UI enhancement on tournaments tab to show the required staked SPS and maybe even the required power? I guess put that on feedback.splinterlands.com for now. That sounds like it's a pretty useful thing. What are things that we can expect after tech modernization gets implemented? What are the stuff under it? Well, tech modernization is like the base layer of basically everything in the game. And right now we're like coding things 2 or 3 times because tech modernization isn't live. So it's a giant pain in the butt and certainly like a slow step for us that, I know you guys are like, hey, you guys are launching a crap ton of code all the time. And we are, and we're doing it with like one hand tied behind our back because tech modernization isn't live yet. But what's underneath it, we have land and validators and all the Rooney, SPS delegation, like all the things that we've been talking about. There's not like, I don't have a secret agenda of things that we're working on in the Splinterlands separate from all the things that we've been talking about. And we just need to kind of crank through some of these like prerequisites to get to the other pieces. Those who are not attending the Splinterfest, is there a way that they can get the neutral promo card? Yeah, we're going to have a page. The people that are attending Splinterfest get a discount and a locked spot. Everybody else will just have access to it. We put it out in the ping somewhere, and I've also pinned it somewhere. So there's information about that. Yeah, Moros is saying Splinterlands refunding packs has almost nothing to do with the number 4 failing. I agree with that. Like 3 passed. It's not like you guys were like, hey, the DAO can't refund. Actually, that passed pretty well. So people are okay with refunds. What they didn't want was a 3-minute extension after the fact. And I'm not even, and my sense currently is that the community does not want a 3-minute extension, even if we announced it ahead of time. They want limited edition. They want fixed number. They want not enough for everybody. And I get it. It makes our life a little bit harder because you then all go crazy with FOMO. It's wonderful, but it's also intense and feelings get hurt and there's all this crap that we have to deal with. But ultimately, those are first world problems and the world is a beautiful thing. Venom is asking, does Splinterlands have a connection with PC gaming accessories providers, distributors? I'm looking for a new gaming chair and it'd be cool to have a Splinterlands themed and embroidered one. We don't currently. Maybe that's something that Liam in his infinite spare time can figure out at some point. Bitcoin Sig is saying, instead of having pre-sales that last 30 to 90 seconds, can we develop systems that work over a 24-hour period so that everyone all over the world can participate? No one feels the need to rush and make mistakes. I hear that, and I also think that the players don't actually want that. And honestly, I think we all inherently want it so that we can get access. But the challenge is the second that I'm like, hey, you guys can have an infinite number of these. It's okay. You don't need to push and shove. Everybody gets one. You guys will be like, why do I want that crap? When I'm like, look, these things are going to last for 30 seconds and you have to be speedy, lucky, get in this lottery, do the thing, already own a Rooney. If there's some set requirements that make it so that you get them and other people don't, and there's not enough for everybody, that's when you guys are going to go nuts. And especially if we price it in a way that's like completely in favor of the player, like we did with Rooney. I think we could do something like 1 ETH each, but that's not the company we are. We're not like, I already know that $500. I was watching Luke's video of like, I got $100 a month I can spend, and you want Roonies and they're 500. How you expect me to do that? Well, we tend to be on the way more affordable scale than like literally anything else for these crypto projects. So we try to be reasonable. If we gave them all away for free, that would have all these other different problems. So, it's this funky balance. And especially with stuff like Rooney, you're not guaranteed a Rooney. You don't need a Rooney to play. You don't need that Rooney to function here. So when we get to like Chaos Legion, I feel very strongly like we have to make sure that people have access. When we get to Rooney, I'm like, screw your access. There's not enough for everybody. Push and shove. That's how this works. So, I hear you. And, for some of these things where it's something like everybody needs access, I could see that being a 24-hour period. Where it's something like a Rooney where it's limited edition, there's not enough for everybody, you have to push and shove. 30 seconds makes a ton of time for me, or makes a ton of sense. I think we should name him Sparkly. He's not all that sparkly. I guess his stones are sparkly. Eiffel Bridge, like Eiffel Tower. Okay. Tushu, do you prefer users to run nodes on their own computers, or are you afraid everyone puts the software running on Amazon, which would make it kind of centralized? I think everybody should do what they want to do. And I hope that if there's enough people doing different things, that we'll have it covered. We're not naming him Spoogle, Ron. Question. When a player has multiples of the same card and level, can the game prioritize the use of the exact same card instead of eventually putting all of them on cooldown after a few matches? Yes, I think that's something we'll eventually get to, but I would also just encourage you, make a second account and put those cards over there. Feedback at Splinterlands.com is where proposals go to die. I don't necessarily believe that. You just need to get player attention, and it's hard to do. So you probably need to be a Mav, and you probably need to be, politicking in Mav chat and pushing to be like, hey, we need to go get these notifications. Get rid of these notifications and put in these ones and all that. Regarding API, it would be great if node owners would get paid the fee for using it. I use a bunch of the APIs and would be fine paying a fee. Yeah, that's what I want. And especially like allowing our software to, you should probably be operating your own node, but if you don't want to operate your own node, you should be able to pay people to use theirs. And so we can pay them either collectively using a witness system, but if you're going to go break it because you need more data than that, you should be running your own and paying people for that service. I mean, it's not cheap. Splinterlands is paying like 30 grand a month. No, 30 grand a week to go put out all this, like the server content. It's a lot of money. So when we start thinking about like infinite server requests in addition to that, we have to make smart choices. And until we have a plan in place of how we can sort of handle, what could be an unlimited number of requests for information and the costs associated with it, it's hard to just run out there and offer it. Question. Relevant to the questions about DAO proposals and separate Discord channels, would it be reasonable to consider allowing the community to vote on committee members to narrow down public proposals to concise terms that would be reasonable for the Splinterlands team to implement? We could potentially have committee members with different levels of SPS stake to make sure that all players, investors are represented. This would also be a small group of players the team could interact with more closely to make sure that all players feel they have a voice. Yeah, actually, that's a really great idea. I don't think that I necessarily want voted members right now. I think I just open it up to the people that are interested, that have things that they're trying to get done or they think would be really big. And, you guys can just go into the proposals channel and, I don't know, maybe Gene to start, if you have some like strong suggestions of what you think has some good consensus behind it. After Splinterfest, you can come tell me things and we can start working on it that way. And maybe there's other people that will fall into that same category, but let's go. Yeah, let's have those conversations. When I skipped, Cart Shrine. The exact 24-hour time for quests is very annoying for humans with daily routine. You talked about changing it to something like 23 hours. Yeah, I think that's still the plan. I don't think that's anything new. It's just a matter of when we can get it done, which is not before Splinterfest. Daniel Williams is saying, if people who missed entering vouchers were allowed to go back and correct that error, would it not be fair to consider how long it would take to enter the information and extend it by 10 to 20 seconds, not 3 minutes? Given that they had entered the vouchers, would they have been in the presale in the first place? Understand where 3 minutes comes from, but not everyone should be lumped into that category. Daniel, why don't you get together with Gene and, get people together and see if there's strong support for that. I made my best guess of what I thought would pass and I was wrong. The 3 minutes did not. So let's get other people involved in that. My guess is that they're going to get shot down by the community, but just because it gets shot down doesn't mean that we shouldn't at least try or think it through. My experience on that particular one is that the community doesn't want to extend the time. So I don't really know how to go deal with that. But, if you can find enough people that makes it seem like, hey, these are some of the big whales that are interested in doing this, or here's like 1,000 people that it impacts and they all want it to be a certain way, then, if you get a bunch of people, then I'm willing to go investigate. I forgot to mention I made a limited postcard for all attendees who come to Splinterfest. I really hope people use them and ship them to friends with correspondence. Limited to 500. Check your swag bag. Thanks, reseller. Spike Sand is asking, when will snapshot for GLS nodes occur? I don't know. We have to get GLX out and live. So that's still a ways off. At least November and probably later. Question: when do we get Osher Constantia? Yeah. That's sometime after the refunds have been processed. So probably another 2 weeks or so. And I think that's it for questions. I think I made it through. We have 10 minutes to spare. So anybody that's on the call right now, is there anything else that we didn't mention or that I should have talked about that you wish that you think we should have covered?
I think Liam wanted to do karaoke.
Oh yeah, Liam's karaoke.
Nope. If you guys want to hear the sound of a dying whale, absolutely, I can do that. But unless you want me to imitate back Jira, nope.
Yeah. So, Gene, it doesn't need to be you, but why don't you guys get together and figure out, pick a time and say, hey, here's when we're going to meet, and just get a meeting on the books and see who's interested. If it's 10,000 people, then we'll deal with it. And if it's, only 2 people, then maybe it's not enough. But, start by saying, hey, this is when I plan on hosting this. And if that's not enough, then, talk to WeirdBeard, and maybe WeirdBeard can help you guys set something up. I will throw him gladly under the bus. And actually, I just want to be clear that I have I'm still planning. Again, I don't want to do anything like pre Splinterfest, but I do want to have some rotating times where like Splinterlands offers up a community like conversation time, and it's not. Maybe we use WeirdBeard to go coordinate it. I definitely think he leads the discussion. I'm not sure that he's going to set the agenda or not. We got to see how that kind of runs out. But I think we should have some time frames where we help the community organize, but basically leave it up to the community to do. But none of that's going to happen before Splinterlands goes live. Yeah, and so John is saying, hey, a Dutch auction over a 24 or 48 hour period for pre-sales would allow some supply and demand to be factored into the pre-sales. And we would make more money. And surprisingly, it's because we would make more money and the players would make less money is that we're not entirely in favor of that. For things like Rooney, I'm sure that we could get more money. I'm 100% positive we could get more money than what we're about to do if we wanted to do it that way. But part of what we're trying to do is actually make sure that it's not just Splinterlands that benefits. We want you guys making an absolute truck ton of money on, purchasing the Rooney, trading the Rooney, holding it, using it. We want you guys to get the bulk of the value. That's our company stance. So, having what we consider a very affordable price for what we're offering and the number of them is part of that. So yes, we could get more money. I'm 100% confident we could get more money than what we're doing, but that's not actually my number one goal. My number one goal is make sure that the company has enough money. But I don't need to suck every minnow dry in order to make that happen. So I'm hoping that you guys will get that benefit and be psyched and talk about it everywhere and talk about how you made the fortune, how you did well, that how you're trading and your success and how you were able to buy something on mint day that you thought was inexpensive and you were able to flip it later. I see those stories on CryptoPunks, and I see those stories on Bored Ape Yacht Club, where they're like, I bought this on mint day and I sold it for 1,000 ETH, and it's a life-changing amount of money for me. That's a story that I hope happens for you guys. So it's not financial advice. I'm just, it's my personal journey and trying to describe to you, when we set prices for things, these are the kinds of stories that we are going after. The company made X, that is one story. The community made X is like an entirely different one. And not because we gave you company profits. That's a security, that's bad, and we don't want to do it that way. But we want to make sure that our community has access to things that leave plenty of upside for them to be able to earn and potentially assets to appreciate or to trade well or whatever you're going to do with them. That's the philosophy. And I can't guarantee execution, but I can tell you that that's how when Matt and I are pushing and shoving with each other and trying to set how many of these things should go into circulation and listening to team members and listening to input, that's a big part of what's on our mind. How do we make sure that our players are doing well? Okay. I think I got to call this, a couple minutes early. This is going to be one of the first ones ever where you can kind of do this early. So really appreciate it. I know that you guys have a ton of questions and tons of concerns, and I want to foster good community discussion. I want to help organize it. I don't really want to help set agendas and things, because I don't think that's the place of our company. You guys should be setting the agenda, but I do think that having some time to organize it and having kind of like a neutral person like WeirdBeard set the agenda rather than some passionate player that has their pet project, that's probably not healthy. But I think WeirdBeard has shown himself to be an extraordinary, community liaison. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. But again, these are the things that happen after Splinterfest. But I do want to make sure that you guys get there. Yeah, Luke's video was okay. He kept going back and forth between, I wish it was different, but I also totally understand why Splinterlands is doing this, and I wish it was like this, but I also support this decision that Splinterlands made. I could see that he was frustrated, but also, and to me, I thought he brought up some decent points, but I didn't leave with my feelings massively changed in the way that we're doing things. Are there more voucher sinks on the way? There's currently gigantic voucher sinks available. It's just that prices need to be a little different before players are like, holy crap, I must absolutely do this thing and participate right this moment. So if you're, I don't know, everything cool is going to require vouchers. So avoid low priced vouchers at your own risk. But seriously, I gotta go. Thanks everybody. Appreciate you being here. Another great town hall. Appreciate your questions. Hopefully getting 40 minutes of QA was better than what I'm normally able to do. And you guys can appreciate that I did attempt to do that for you. This community is great. Really proud of our team. So stoked for Splinterfest. And thanks everybody. And be sure, please come join us for the tournament on Sunday. That is really us as a community putting one of our biggest feet forward, and we would like you to be there. Thanks everybody. 'Cause chaos is here.